Happy Sunday, risers. Guess what time it is? It's time for our question and answer segment, #RisingQs. And I think, so we've got 3 questions, right? Robbie, you've got the first one?
Actually, Ryan has the first one.
Ryan has the first one. Okay,
my
Ryan.
television screen. So
let's see. This
take it
one's
away, Ryan.
from Jonathan Isbell. He says, in this presidential term, who will be the more important Joe? Joe Manchin, Joe Rogan, or Joe Biden? Robbie, what do you think?
Different Joe.
Or Kim, who wants to take this one first?
It'll be Joe
That's a tough
Biden
one.
because Joe Biden is still, I know everyone's going to say you're deluded, is like most likely to be the next president again is Joe Biden, right? So he has to be
So
the
you
most
think
important
that's-
person in the presidential election because I think he will be the next president.
No, I mean, that was a fight that Kamala Harris got into with Charlemagne the God, right? Like, who's the real president with the United States? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden? Joe Manchin or Joe Biden?
Manchin,
I'm going to say Joe Rogan.
What about Joe Q. Public? No, it's John Q. Public. Forget me.
Manchin certainly ran the show the first year, but if and when Democrats lose the House and Senate, Manchin becomes irrelevant, and Joe Biden will then be, sitting atop the most powerful military the world's ever known, and with the decision of whether or not he's going to use it, as we just saw with this Ukraine-Russia situation. So in that sense, if war, that Joe will end up becoming, I think, the biggest
Oh,
deal.
right. I mean, if you're going to pull out the nukes, then okay, I suppose.
Yes. Joe Rogan doesn't have the nuclear codes yet.
I suppose, who knows? Somebody might slip.
But we'll
into
talk
him.
more about Rogan, probably.
Yeah, right. Of course,
Yes.
he's the
Well,
most
Joe
important
Biden's
Joe to
boring.
this show.
Right.
Right?
Biden not good for ratings.
That's the greatest thing about him is that he gives the media nothing to talk about, and they just kind of hang their heads in sadness.
All right, let's do another Rogan segment. Yep. All right. Who's next?
All right, Kim, you're up.
Oh, I am. Okay, this is Jay Fraz. How far should a ban on stocks go in the judicial sector? Just the Supreme Court or all federal judges, their direct family and staff? Or could allowing mutual funds for these positions be acceptable? I don't know if you could ban family. I think that's going to be a different, unless it's spouse, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's tricky, right?
Could Congress even ban the Supreme Court from stock?
They could. The Supreme Court could rule it unconstitutional.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's very up to the Supreme Court to decide. Well, I'm just thinking about their conflict of interest stuff, right? There's no law saying here's the panel that determines whether this is a conflict of interest for you to weigh in on, or for an individual justice. The justices have to decide to recuse themselves. And it comes up because Clarence Thomas's wife, Ginny Thomas, is actually a very active Republican conservative activist, people on the left make arguments that, to be perfectly frank, I don't find all that uncompelling. That he should recuse himself in a variety of situations, but chooses not to. No one can make him, so I don't know that they could make him divest whatever stocks he has.
They could.
Maybe they could.
They could, but then the Supreme Court could strike it down. Be like, hey, this is a.
We're going to redo Marbury versus Madison.
Would the Supreme Court? It would be a political fight. Would they be willing to spend that capital on allowing themselves to continue trading?
Maybe.
I mean, I think there should be a ban. There should be a ban on anybody in a regulatory position. So if you're in Congress, or if you're in the judicial, or even the I think anybody in a position to make a change or regulate in some way should be banned from. Yeah. Maybe there can be some sort of a fund that they can have, like a mutual fund, but it is managed by a completely separate company that has nothing to do. It doesn't get any of the inside information, something along those lines. But I do think if you're going to serve in the government, this whole getting rich, being in the government and then walking away and being able to make a bunch of money, to me is just so immoral.
Although the Supreme Court doesn't walk away and make a bunch, they stay in the Supreme Court till the bitter end. They don't actually, and they work really hard. They have a lot to do. They don't parlay. I mean, they're well-to-do, they're well-off people. They make money from a variety of. They can write books, speaking, etc. But they don't parlay it into anything because they die in office.
That to me is the only acceptable way, I think, to make money if you're a member. It would be like, okay, write a book, I suppose. Right. Maybe giving a speech, but only if it's to like a university or something. It can't be to Wall Street. Financial, big banks.
Yeah. Universities are tough too, though. After they gave $800,000 to Biden.
I guess that's
true.
Then
they won all these Pell Grants, and that gets dicey too, even.
Chelsea, I remember some just absurd speaking fee some university gave Chelsea Clinton. It's like,
well, she was never a politician, so that's fine, I suppose.
Right, I mean, it's fine, but it's just
paying off the kids. Like when NBC gave her $600,000 for a no-show.
Exactly.
Job.
Yeah, okay. Do we have another one?
Yeah.
One last one?
Last but not least, Mark D asks, did Ryan Grimm emerge from the womb looking like an accountant, or was that a conscious choice over time? Ryan bikes in to work incredibly because it is freezing cold out. He's got a full face mask ski thing, so he looks a little bit more disheveled, a little bit more rough for the road when he arrives.
Look like I'm going to rob the bank on the way in, and then I'm going to run the bank while I'm sitting here, right?
I'm pretty sure that this is all a front. What you're saying with Ryan is all a front. I'm pretty sure that probably as a child he looked a lot like Dennis the Menace and probably acted like that too. And then got older and realized, oh no, I need to put on these glasses and comb my hair all nice and wear this suit in order for people to take me seriously, because if they knew there was a wild animal in that suit, then they might.
And you have robbed the bank views. Your views are that the bank should be robbed by the people.
Yeah. No. Yeah. In high school, middle school, I was, I barely got into college. It wasn't pretty. So yeah.
Troublemaker over here.
It took me a while to get to.
We've all heard some stories. We've
took
heard
me a
some
while
rumors.
to get to my accountant. Look.
Maybe share those on another day.
They're not rumors. All you have to do is read his book. Right?
That's true. First book was on drug use. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's an old book now. 12, 13 years.
Personal stories, I hear.
There are some stories in there. Yes. And actually, people at the time, I'd only been in journalism for a couple years at that point, and people were like, "You're insane to write this book. Like, you're going to be drummed out. You can't just write about drug use.
About doing hallucinogens."
You can't do this and continue to be taken seriously as a journalist.
My Libertarian magazine demands discussion of drug use in order to be taken seriously. Reason, you can always get a job at Reason.
Reason excerpted some of the book.
There you go. And look at us. We're all hosting a television show anyway.
There you go.
No worse for the wear.
All right. Well, I think that does it for us. So thank you so much for your questions. Thanks for sending them in. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that we see you guys all tomorrow. Maybe Ryan will look disheveled, tomorrow.
Yeah, go for that. See you soon.
Bye, everybody.